What's up, everybody? It's your host, Mario. You guys are back with another No Friend Left Behind podcast. And today we have a special guest, which goes by the name Mario as well.
Yep.
Dope-ass director, cinematographer. I mean, you name it, he does it all. So, yeah, Mario, go ahead and let the people know. First of all, thank you for coming, by the way.
Thank you for having me, bro. How many, we've been saying this for what, like months, 6 months already?
6 months, yeah. It's been
Finally.
like half a year.
Yeah.
But good to have you, bro. And I
you, bro.
really wanted to bring you in because there's a lot that you've been doing. There's a lot that I get inspired by. And I want you to come on because I want a lot of creators out there to really gain valuable information that you can probably provide.
Yep.
At the same time, get the insight on you, you know, because you do a lot.
For sure. Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with the first one that I had, bro. It's what inspired you to become a filmmaker and what started it?
Man, it started back in my hometown. I'm from Woodlake up north.
Okay.
So like Fresno areas. And I used to do like dance videos, bro, back in the day when I was 18. So that kind of started. And then me and my friends used to be like in a dance crew. So,
no way.
Yeah, like a break dance. Yeah, break dancer, bro, back in the day. And we used to go to like the World of Dance and stuff like that. And I used to like film us do like stuff together. And then I kind of started shifting into the filming. And I just, you know, I kind of like, I fell in love with it. And yeah, and kind of shifted that way.
What made you... What day was it that made you realize like filmmaking is for you? Like you wanted to be in the creative world. What moment was it in your career that jump started everything?
Well, I mean, I was going to college as a psychology major back in the day, and as soon as my mom had a little camera, bro, like one of those like small like with those little
point and shoot.
Yeah, I mean it was like one of those like. You know, las desechables, you know, you throw them away.
Oh, disposable ones. Okay.
Yeah, like, so I grabbed it and I just started doing some stuff with my friends. And as soon as I seen the video and the frames and kind of the movement, I was like, man, like, this is something else. Like, you know, like you can show the world, like you can say a lot without really saying anything, you know what I mean? Just showing people. And I was, 18 years old, 16 years old? Yeah, when that happened.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So you've been doing it for quite some time?
Yeah. Professionally, almost 10 years.
Okay.
And then from there, just, you know, I'm doing my own little thing.
So right now you're with Dell Records?
Yeah, I'm with the record label and then just independent projects.
How did that go about for anybody out there that wants to connect with a label or, you know, they're shooting music videos and they just want to get into the game? What kind of advice would you give someone and also explain your story and how you even came across the moment you're in right now?
Right. So basically how it started, so I was an immigrant, how it started. So I couldn't go to school for, like, I went to college, for community college, because that's all I could do. And I tried applying for like grants and stuff like that. I couldn't, because even if I did, they wouldn't give them to me because I didn't have papers. Okay. So then I just started working and I became a manager at Pep Boys up north. And then finally, when I was 22 years old, I got my green card. And then that, like a couple months after that, I told my mom I'm moving to LA. So, you know, I had like a 2000 Honda Civic, $500 in my pocket, and I just moved out here, man. And yeah, I just kind of like, you know, went to a film school, and I just started networking. And then after that, I started doing films. Eventually, met one of my homies. He's a good friend of mine now, but he connected me with an artist, and I started doing his the covers and like the music videos and stuff like that. And then we became really good friends. His name is Edwin, and I moved with him. And he was an artist for Dell Records. So then I did one of his music videos for like $800, bro. You know, one of those.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the budget, that's what I got, but the budget was bigger, but like he spent all that money, right? Like he was like, I'm gonna spend all this money. Like, how much you gonna charge me? I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna charge you anything, you know, like because I was still learning. I was still kind of like in school and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, let's just do it. We're good homies. Like, we're both creating, right? We're just creating. And then Dell saw the video that I did for him They're like, dude, this is a great video. Like, who did it? And then they called me in. They interviewed me, and I got hired before I graduated high school. Before I graduated film school. So then I ended up dropping out of film school. Because my teachers were like, dude, like, this is what you're waiting for, right? Like, all these people here are waiting for this moment.
Yeah.
So you got to go. You know what I mean? So I was going for my bachelor's. So I ended up leaving like 3 years into film school. And, you know, this whole process was like a 3-year thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like everything kind of just happened as I went. And it was mostly the networking and just keep working and like meeting people and just always being on set and giving it everything I had, like at all times. You know what I mean?
So I want to come back to networking in a bit, but the number one question I have, because one of my friends, I don't know if you know him, EDG.
Yeah.
So he did the same thing, and I want your story. So what went in your mind driving to LA, $500? Like, I think there's so many people in different states, even countries, where they want to come to LA because it's like kind of like the mecca of like filmmaking,
right,
filmmaking and all that, movies.
It's the hub, yeah, right.
So what made you like? Talk to me. What did you do when you like? What was your mindset to do the jump? And then when you got here, what did you do? Like, how did you keep yourself afloat? Because you said you had 500 to your pocket.
Yeah,
so,
that's it, man.
So how did that work out? Like, talk to me on that.
Well, when I was like the whole drive. It was a 3-hour drive home. Drive to the apartment in LA, and the whole drive, I'm like, man, like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, if I fail, I fail. You know what I mean? Because that's it. It's done. Because at the same time, my mom moved to Colorado, so I didn't have no one there. So I didn't have somewhere to go after that. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't go back home. Because there was no
back home.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Man.
So I was just, scared. You know what I mean? Scared to shit. It is what it is. You know what I mean? A lot of thoughts going through my mind, but I was just hungry. That's it. I was more than anything just hungry to make it, and I wasn't really thinking. I was just trying to really be present at the moment, and I was actually more glad because I've been wanting that for so long. I graduated in 2010. And I couldn't go anywhere after that or where I wanted. So I've been waiting this whole time to go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I was hungry to go. So I've been waiting for like 4 years to like finally be doing what I wanted to do. So I guess nothing really else mattered. You know what I mean? I just wanted to
take a risk.
Yeah, take the risk.
See what's up.
And I think that's what it is, man. And that's what usually stops everybody from doing what they want. Just not wanting to take the risk. Because
it's the uncertainty.
Like, exactly, right? Like, you don't know what could happen. You could lose this, you could lose that. But sometimes that's what it takes, man. Yeah, and that's how it goes. So, yeah, it was $500. And then as soon as I got here, I was able to get a job because I was already a manager over there. So I just got like a regular part-time job at the same thing, like Pep Boys, like in West LA. And I just try to
hustle.
Yeah, man, like, eating, like Maruchanes all month, but that's what it was, and I made it through. So
yeah, that's inspiring. See, I like hearing those stories, bro. I like when people make jumps because I always say big risk comes with a big reward.
Yeah, of
and
course.
It's scary. I know how that is, but I like hearing stuff like that because especially now where I seen you, bro. Yeah. It's funny. You know my guy John, right?
John, yeah, right.
He showed up with the cop
car.
He
ended
up coming out in the music video. Freaking John was always down for
he's cool. Yeah, he's super down. He's super down.
So I think before we get to the next one, the biggest question, I guess this is from me and John. Right. This is the one that we question it a lot, bro. Mm-hmm. And I need to understand this because I can't keep up with what you're doing. Right. How is it that you're able to do everything that you're doing? You're producing, directing, cinematography, but then, bro, your editing is on another level. Like, like you're doing VFX, bro. I'm seeing when you're on your stories, when you're in your car doing treatments, your treatments are freaking long. There's like some art piece, bro. It's not even like a treatment. Like my shits are lazy. Yours are done perfection. So me and John is like, does this dude sleep? Like, how does he do all this? And you execute it well. Yeah. That's the big, like, how did you learn to edit, do VFX? You're producing, like, how are you able to handle all that? Because when for example, me right now, bro, I'm busy to the point where I can't learn VFX anymore. So John's actually learning that right now, and he's kind of like my editor. Right. And he's learning it, and he's kind of doing those type of things. But you I call you like the Hispanic version of Cole Bennett. Because Cole Bennett, bro, is just like a monster
he's
when it comes to
crazy.
VFX.
Yeah,
but
he's
you do
wild.
the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
So talk to me on that. Like, how were you able to balance all these things for creators out there that want to learn a little bit of everything? Because you're great at everything.
Right. Thank you,
from
man.
what I see.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, it's mostly just, I mean, putting the time into things. And for everybody out there, sometimes like you people say, I don't have the time, right? But like you do a lot of shit. And you still find the little time you have to work on your things, right? So it's almost the same thing. Like, you're already at the level where you have a lot of things doing it very well, because this is great too. Like, everything you're doing is amazing. Like, this is professional level. Like, you have big producers and big artists coming into your studios to film, right? So you are a master of what you do. So you don't have the necessity to like go and be like, oh, I need VFX, because maybe someone else could do it for you, because you're already bringing in that clientele. Well, for me, it was the same thing back in the day. I needed that skill. So it was like, I mean, I'm sure you don't sleep a lot either, right?
Nah.
Exactly, but you're putting the work somewhere else because that's where your focus at. So same thing, man. I mean, just the little time, like when I sit sometimes at home and I'm like, man, do I really need to be watching TV, or can I go and edit?
That's funny.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think the same way.
Yeah, same thing, exact way. So I just like sit, I'm be like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go and like, and see if I can do something in Cinema 4D, or if I can start like storyboarding something, or if I can learn how to do new edits, or see what's up with the new cuts, or how the new editing styles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just putting your time, instead of being lazy or like resting, into the craft more than anything. And I think you understand that very well. I mean, you've done this whole thing, you know what I mean? And you continue to do it. We're just putting the focus in different places, I think, but we're doing the same thing, I think. And most of us are, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people creatively, like the people that are really putting the work into the stuff, I think they're all like very hungry, and you always want, your mind is always running, and what can I do next, and what can I, you know what I mean? Like, it's never good enough. And you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing, man. It's the same concept.
Like, I think the biggest question I was asking myself when I'm just sitting down at home, am I doing enough?
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Yeah. And sometimes I need to learn to like let go, but at the same time, it's like there's so much things to do.
Right.
And right now that you're young enough to like have the energy, dominate it, Like,
exactly.
I want to retire young. I don't want to be working my whole life.
Right.
And life is moving so fast that you kind of got to keep up with the life,
Right. Yeah. And then people say, oh, well, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. But I mean, I wasn't good at it at some point, you know what I mean? Like, I had to learn the craft. I had to like sit there and go through the tutorials, and like, you don't even need to go to film school, honestly, bro. Like, film school, I went to film school, and the only thing that it really got me was like the networking. But most of the time when I started film school, the teacher was like, I think you're ready to go to work. I think you're ready to go to work. Like, most of the stuff that I'm gonna even teach you here, you know what I mean? Everything else is gonna be like on set, doing the stuff, doing the work. That's me going to film school, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what the teachers were telling me, like, you gotta go out and really start doing the craft. That's the way that you're gonna learn more and become like greater at what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what it is with everything. If you want to become great at something, you have to do it. There's no other way around it, you know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
So next question, someone actually told me this today. What was your biggest budget to date? Mm-hmm. What was the struggles on that? Mm-hmm. What was the outcome? You don't have to speak about the product itself, but like, what was the biggest budget, and talk about the chaos and everything that comes with that. And because I'm assuming you're probably producing that one as well.
Yeah. Producing, and I DP'd that one as well, co-directed that one. Okay. So I think I had the bigger ones. It was between 100,000 and 105,000 for the budget. And the chaos, when it comes to like producing that level of music videos, there's a lot of paperwork that comes with that, right? So a lot of people and a lot of the youngsters starting right now, they don't really understand the word producing. They think producing is like getting the studio and the video, but there's a lot that goes behind that. So and I try to do this even in my small like music videos, because I did a couple ones that went pretty big earlier, And when I do it or I talk to other people, they don't really, it's very unorganized. So because they don't really understand the producing side of it, right? So basically, it has to do with permits. It has to do with a lot of contracts, budgeting, making sure that you have the right crew. You know what I mean? Make sure you have the right gear. Make sure that, like for example, on that budget for $100,000, we had to close down the street. So and it was in Broadway, downtown Los Angeles. So I had to go and talk to Film LA, and then there was a list this big, right, to get the space. The space itself, it wasn't too crazy. It was like $10,000 to rent it, and it was like the Broadway theater. But in order to rent it, you had to close down the side of the street, which is downtown LA. And then I had to get parking too, so I had to shut down a whole parking lot behind it too.
Plus cops.
Plus the cops and the barricades. So then you gotta understand, you gotta hire barricades, you gotta hire LAPD, you gotta close down the parking lot, you gotta get all the contracts, you gotta get the COIs, which is the certificates of insurance, then all the payments that go with everybody, the
whole team.
And then you gotta get signatures from everyone within the 4 blocks that know that you're gonna shut down the street. So and they have to sign off on it.
And if they don't,
then there's still ways around it. Like they'll still do it, but they won't sign. You have to let them know, hey, they didn't sign this and that. But do they know? Yes, they know. Okay, well that's good enough. So then, which is why you need the LAPD, because when we're shooting there, we got a few people coming in here like, hey, like blah blah blah, like like business, this and stuff, and the cop got to stay there and open up the permit, and here you go, like this, he has a permit for this, you can't do anything, and bye, you don't get shut down for that. And then, to do a lot with the timing, that was a 12-hour day. We had 25 casting. With just the cast was 25. Crew was 15 people, and we had to dress everybody in like the 40s, So that
took some budget too.
That
right?
took like $6,000 just on the wardrobe itself, plus the dresser. Whoever was gonna dress them, so that was another like $5,000. Then also like the logistics that have to do with this, or you also have to do logistics, which means like what stuff you're gonna have, what do you need, like the logistics of the whole project basically when you're doing the producing. So to make sure that you're not missing anything, your catering, your what do you call it, your release forms, both the location and the everybody on set, sometimes NDAs if the project is like super high key and stuff like that. And man, there's a lot that goes on with. And
you had to take care of that whole thing. Plus, you had to.
Plus I had to DP it, and I had to produce it, DP it, and co-direct it.
What's that timeline from like the moment you start? Okay, they give you the project, they give you the budget. Now you got to execute.
That one was a 3-month, and that one was actually because it was my first budget that high, so they had to see that I was able to come through with it. Like they usually don't give you that much money, because you need to know where to put it. You know what I mean? You need to know where to go, to where that budget goes, where that money needs to go. And a lot of the time for like producers and stuff, like for big labels, like you never even touch the money, and you work with an accounting department. So you got to make sure that everybody has their W-9s, everybody has their invoices, all that stuff has to do with the producer as well. So making sure that if anybody needs to go on payroll, then they have to go on payroll, and overtime, make sure no one goes overtime, make sure the project gets done on time and on budget, all that stuff. But it was a 3-month thing, and I had a package this big, bro, like this thick when I was done with that, because all the paperwork that I had, and it was crazy. And
while you're still DPing.
And exactly. And then I still had 2 weeks before that, I still had to get with a gaffer, with my main gaffer and Grip, and just to talk about the whole setup and making sure that we had the right look for it, and get with the director, make sure that we were all on the same page after doing all that work. you know. So it's a lot of work, but you just gotta have like you gotta love it at the same time. You know, producing is a very hard job, I think, as far as like it's a headache. You know,
Yeah.
you really gotta love it.
Someone told me, actually, it's one of my homies, a director, and he told me he sees me more of a producer more than a DP, because when I tell him how I break down everything, he's like, you're kind of more producer, like you're organized, you do this and that. And I agreed. I was like, yeah, at some point I think I am better. Like, I think I could be a better producer.
Yeah, right.
Just because I'm pretty good with managing things.
Right.
If it has to get done, it has to get done.
Yeah,
you can't take no for an answer.
Exactly.
Right? Or work around.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you got to deal with all the little, the little things that goes into set and stuff like that. Which I usually, if I can, I rather just be either producing. Well, nowadays, back in the day, I was like, oh, cool, I want to shoot this, I want to shoot that. Now I'm like, man, like if I can just produce this, it would be amazing. If I can produce and co-direct, that's it right there. You know what I mean? Because
it's too much,
bro. There is a thing as
a burnout.
Too much work. You know what I mean? Like, and then you don't want to hurt the project either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is especially when you get that kind of a budget and stuff like that, especially for bigger companies. Because before Dell, I did work for like Universal and what's the other call when Jay-Z is at for the Latin Rock Nation.
Okay.
So for the Latin labels that they have, and those labels, they require a huge amount of paperwork too. So if you want to land the bigger labels and stuff like that, I suggest you really dive into the producing. You know what I mean? Like really understand what producing is, and be more like, because I don't know if you're too strict with this, but do you require like COI sometimes and or like insurance for this and then certain paperwork, or are you more lenient, like sure, just
for my shoots,
for your studios?
For my studios, it's only for like bigger productions,
right? Like 15 or more, or something like
it's they normally, you could tell us at least like 12 grand budget.
Okay.
Or 10 grand,
right.
Total. So it's like, and I know if it's like 25 people, 30 people,
then you require.
That's normally best because again, safety.
Right. Yeah, which is, and again, it's like that's the good thing about like Pure Space and Gixxer and Placer and all these other places. There's a new one, Black Goose or something like that.
I saw another one's like Avalon.
Yeah, something. There's a few already, but it's more lenient, right? Like before, if you go to like locations.com or something like that, they will require you to do all the work, the producer work. You know what I mean? So
you don't have to do some shortcuts.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna have to do the real stuff. You know what I mean? So I guess that's a good thing about Pure Space, but then it's also a bad thing because then there's other youngsters, they don't really have to go through all the work that requires it. You know what I mean? So if you work with a big label and stuff like that, they will ask you for all that. They will ask you for a company COI. They will ask you for the COI for the locations. They will ask you for a COI for the artists. So you have to have different insurances. They'll have to have an insurance for the artist that you're recording, an insurance for your gear, an insurance for the production company, and an insurance for the location. So you need that. And that's just for one thing. That's just the insurance. You know what I mean?
I hope y'all hearing this because this is some knowledge shit. I'm even like, damn. I'm learning a lot of things. I'm sucking in all knowledge. I'm like, okay. I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, that doesn't sound like I'll probably want to produce that. That sounds like a headache, bro.
It's definitely a headache once you understand it. It's easy because now it's like, COI. I was like, I'll get it done in 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, Yeah. But when I started, I was lost. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, you need a 1 million insurance? Like, what do you mean you need a coverage for 5 million of this and that? And it was like, it sounds like when they say the numbers, it's like, it kind of like gets you like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
Why do I need a $5 million insurance if I'm only going to shoot a $10,000 video, right? Like, doesn't make sense. But they require you to, because this whole building might be, like you never know.
Exactly.
But yeah, so if you do want to land the bigger productions and the bigger labels, then I suggest definitely like get in there and understand a little bit more of the production side of it. You know what I mean? The actual paperwork. I know it's It's not that creative, but it is very important.
Well, it's kind of like I always tell people. It's always like, for example, business.
Yeah.
What matters most is the back end.
Right.
Anyone can do the front.
Right.
But if your back end is fucked up,
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be like, good luck. Like, there's a lot of things that come with that. Taxes, a lot of things people don't understand. And you want the back end to be strong.
Right. Yeah.
The front, anyone can come in and do it, but it's the back end that's.
Well, my teacher used to say, we're in show business, but the important part is the business side of it. The show just runs itself. You know what I mean? The back end which is the business. That's what you really got to worry about. You know what I mean? But it's just what it is, man.
Damn. So I hope you guys are all taking notes on this because I'm about to replay this shit when I'm editing. All right. So now we're going to drop it down a little bit. We were talking about big budget now.
Yeah.
How do you balance a small budget? Like from visual, like what do you cut away? All right, let's just say, so right now we're in a big budget. We're talking 100,000, 105. So now let's drop it down. Let's just say it's an artist issue. This is for like an average, I guess, filmmaker more than anything.
Right.
Budget's 5,000.
Okay.
How would you balance that? Let's just say, how many locations would you give? How many hours? What kind of team? For someone out there that maybe they might get 5,000 next month, like how would you balance that?
For a $5,000 video, okay. And this is just let's pick a concept, right? Like let's just
storyline, love story.
Love story. Okay. So let's say some kind of loft somewhere downtown LA with maybe some rolling shots. So maybe like a car and a loft somewhere. So that'll be 6 hours at the loft. A car, usually I like to do twirl unless it's too expensive. Then try to find some homies that have some and then shoot them like $100-200 for that. Depending. There's a lot of people that do it independently too that rent their cars and they're at for like 2 hours. You can get some really good rolling shots. So what is that? Let's say between the car, the locations, and your props, you're gonna spend like $2,000, right? Then usually you have your camera already, like people that are shooting that kind of budget, which is usually like a Sony. You're not gonna shoot something crazy, right? Like Sony is gonna be good, so you're already gonna have that, no expense there. Then you want a gaffer for sure. You want a PA for sure. So PA, I don't know what you guys are paying right now, but I try to be between the $300 to $250 on a PA. And then a gaffer, depending on how heavy your gaffing is, like we're between the 400 or 500 ratio, and that's for a 10-hour. Anything over that, then negotiable. So that's what, 25, 26, 28. Then you're catering, $200, a small crew. That's what,
basically
three, and then 500 for any other little things that go down that can happen, and then you have 1,500 for you. That's kind of a fair.
Sounds about right.
That's kind of where I would split it, and that's on a super basic video. You don't really need to do any of the, like I said, no insurance required or anything like that, because if you do need something like that, then you're adding another $250 on the insurance. And then any permits, hopefully you don't need any permits, because then you adding $850 on just to apply for the permit, plus whatever the permit costs, like whatever the permit, just for you to put in a permit is $850.
Oh my Lord.
Like that's for you to just put the paperwork in.
That's
plus
LA.
Plus whatever it costs you to, like whatever it's actually going to cost you. It can be anywhere.
So you don't even know the cost.
No, you don't know until you're there. So, and then whatever the requirements for the permit. So I would suggest anything that requires permits, don't do it on a 5K budget, because your whole budget is going to go to that permit. So don't ever get permits. Stick to PeerSpace, Gigster, all that stuff. But I think that's pretty solid on a simple video, you know what I mean? Okay. And then obviously you can shoot a lot more like the beach and other areas that don't really require they do require a permit, but like small, exactly, small you want, and then you don't need to pay, like you don't need to pay for a location there, you know what I mean? There's a lot of places that you can do little storylines, like going to
the hills or
the
something.
hills, and stuff like that, and that will keep your budget low and still get good visuals.
Okay, so to break that down for you guys, that's in case you guys have anything like that. That's one way of breaking it down. So kind of note that. The next question I have here is what do you think for every filmmaker out there should possess or develop, like in today's day? Like, what do you think is like a strong suit that they should have, that essential skill?
Oh, okay. A skill, or like something that they must have, and
like things that you think they should learn and develop right now. Like
right now.
if let's just say they're not starting off, but they're like a year and a half in, so they know they know the camera, they know the basics editing.
Yeah.
From there, like what would you think is like a strong they should like learn in?
Well, one thing, know, because a lot of people, if you want to do your own videos, then you want to kind of know a little bit of everything, so you want to really know the editing, the coloring, more than anything, know how to work a camera, you know, like don't be like understand the framing of things, and work on building a story and shooting with a purpose more than anything, because now I feel like everybody's shooting to shoot, and it's becoming more of a swing everywhere, and 3,000 layers of effects and like rotoscoping and and like a lot of things, and making sure that you don't actually see the frame that you shot, and you're covering it with a bunch of layers, and
so let me cut you real quick on that. This is for all creators out there. So if let's say Dell Records, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they were to see a videographer doing that, would they be looking for someone like that, or they'll know, oh, it's a half-fast running gun, they're not ready for like a 10 grand budget or something?
No, usually that's what usually the more expensive the videos are, the less effects that it has.
The more it goes into the
right. I mean, you don't want to spend $50,000 on a video that you can't even see. Like, imagine, like,
that's a great point.
You don't really see your 50K because you're covered by layers. Even like artists like that are pretty high profile, and like that are reggaetoneros or whatever, we just shot one, and even like he was like, oh, you know what, it was black and white, and he was like, oh, you know what, I don't really like let's keep it simple, and this is an artist that shoots $200,000 budget videos, and he's like super detailed with all his shots and stuff. He saw every single shot that we took, every single shot, and it was crazy. I mean, I don't know if I can say it. Maybe Jayco Cortez. Yeah. So I mean, the video's out already, but he saw every single shot, every single take he saw. Now he picked it right there, and then he's like, I like this, I like that, I like this, and then when I did the edit, sent it to him. He's like, you know what, I don't like the black and white. Can you make it color, please? I don't want it to feel like it's less quality. You know what I mean? So just those things were like, he wanted to see the better quality of it. You know what I mean? And that was like the budgets was like under the 30K budget or something like that. You know what I mean? And he didn't want a bunch of stuff, or none of the artists, both of them, they didn't want to see a bunch of shit on it. You know what I mean? They wanted to see a clean frame, something like that really they wanted to tell the story, not a bunch of shit. There's videos for that could be $200,000, and that's the concept of it, and it's okay. Yeah. But you don't want to just
throw things.
Yeah. I mean, usually that's a style of filming, which is fine, but you can tell when it's a style because it even has a purpose, right? The frame is still good. It just has some crazy overlays, and you're like, holy shit, like, that's crazy. But you can still understand the visual of it. You can understand how that is against someone that is just really not moving the camera everywhere. There's no framing. There's nothing. It's just craziness. Just film. Yeah, it's just like grabbing the camera, swinging it, and then we'll fix it in post kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild, but to each his own.
That's what I try telling everybody. I just see too many like videos with effects, right? And I'm like, you know what? Like, you look at one point, I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I need to learn that because everyone's doing it. But then you start looking, it's like, okay, it's the videos that have no purpose, right? And like, you look at Bad Bunny, you look at Grupo Frontera, for example, that are coming out. You can name J. Cole. All these bigger artists, bro. It's a simple video. If you see one effect, it's very small. That just helps elevate the video, but it's nothing to do with just randomly throwing it in.
A lot of videos like that. Yeah, like you said, the Grupo Frontera, all those. Even though they're live videos, some of them, like, they don't really have a lot of effects. They just have the taste. You know what I mean? Clean
shots. Lighting looks amazing.
Exactly. It's a great lighting. A lot of like the 100% one too. That one was a great video too. Like, great color, super simple. There was a lot of stuff there that was shot that didn't even get used, because they just decided to keep it clean. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of these artists just prefer to have a cleaner look.
I think it's just the ones that don't know what they want, that they just want to throw it.
Yeah.
Because I just got like an artist like not long ago, and he was like, "Hey, bro, like I give him the video.
Yeah.
Simple, clean lighting.
Yeah.
Very. Not, I don't even call it simple. You know, everything takes work.
Yeah.
But we put a lot into the lighting and everything. He's like, "Hey, man, like throw some effects." I'm like, dude, it just makes no sense to this video. Like
Yeah.
I threw some
Yeah.
transitions that made give it a flair.
Right.
But as far as like he wanted like the rotoscoping going through like some you know a
Right.
hole or anything,
Yeah.
anything just like bro, it
Yeah.
does not fit your song.
Yeah, right.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
Like, why
for
would
me
you
it's
want
like
it?
it's like almost like when you do recaps and stuff that they're just like visually like good.
Yeah.
Then it's like fine, like because just a
It's
bunch
just
of
a
visuals,
yeah.
right? That they don't really have a purpose, but to show that you were there. You know what I mean? I think that's all right, but
Not for something that needs to have like
yeah. From time to time, and they would be like, "Hey, throw some effects on this one, cause that's what they want." All right, cool. I'll keep it minimum regardless, you know. But yeah, I don't really do that much either, you know, for music videos.
And I noticed, but it's like again super clean.
Yeah, so thank you, man.
So I mean, we kind of actually touched on it. A lot of creators doing today that they should be avoiding. And I guess one is like stop doing over effects.
Right.
Focus on the back to basics. Just,
Right,
You know,
yeah.
Lighting, what
Yeah.
lenses. Every lens tells a different story.
Right.
You know, I don't even think cameras. I mean, sometimes you can have like a basic camera, just the
Cameras
right
don't matter, honestly. I like to use it, but most of the time it's only for show, honestly, and to say you're shooting with this camera. But I mean, I've seen people do amazing stuff with like Sony's. The first ones, the Sony 2s, the A7, not even the A7 IIIs, the S2s, I mean, I seen some crazy shit done, man, like with film cameras, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's honestly more again about the story, about about your shot, about like the lighting is everything. I always said it, you know, I rather have really good lighting than a really good camera. 100% of the time, honestly. You know what I mean? That is lighting is honestly everything. That is literally the meaning of cinematography.
That gives you. A whole,
you know what I mean?
You
like,
can't. I've always said lighting in the moment. Like for example, you can give anybody a video, and you can, if it's a good editor, they can do the same thing as the other person.
Right.
But lighting is a whole. You can't duplicate it in post.
Yeah.
It has to be done in person, and there's a style to that. So that can't be replicated.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's why that to me is more valuable than like an editor. You could give a good editor that, and he'll duplicate it 20 times.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, the editing is just the. I mean, it's still it's the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? But you can hold a shot, and if the story is right, the lighting is right, is in the right mood, the frame is right. If it's like a very like into the, like you really want to show that the character is like, and it's very like claustrophobic or whatever, you have a close lens, a really moody light, and you can really just tell the feel of it without having to cut, without having to do anything.
Let it run.
You know what I mean? You just is the shot. You know how to feel from just seeing that without doing anything, and that's a lot more important, and it's a harder skill to get, but it's a must. So if anything, learn that too. Lighting is another thing that you must have. You must understand at least, know what lights do, and see how they affect the face, even as certain angles of lighting affect the face differently. And some artists might not want their face to look chubby, or the ojeras, the shadows under the eyes and stuff like that. And whenever you run into like bigger artists and like divas and stuff like that, you'll definitely see that. So
they're very picky on what they want, huh?
Super picky. So yeah,
that's a good tip. Yeah, definitely. I've always said it on my YouTube channel. Lighting is everything. Don't focus on everything. Lighting is like, at least understand it. Yeah, you don't got to be a pro. Like there's always someone that can come in and help you, but understand it. Right. So that way you can always tell the gaffer, like, place the light here because of so and so, because the gaffer's always gonna have their style, but you're the one editing still. So exactly. If you are, at least, so you kind of want, what you're gonna do with that lighting, whether it's exposure or color grading. So it's just good to understand it. And now the last question I have for you, bro, this is a strong one. This is I don't know how you feel about AI.
Okay.
AI, it's coming in strong, bro.
It's something.
It's helping a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like you can utilize it to your skill. However, this is the thing I tell everybody: you could use it to your advantage right now, but how do you view it 5 years from now?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Everyone keeps saying right now, AI is amazing. They're not. But that's right now. Everyone's using ChatGPT. Everyone's using. I use the podcast AI. But wait till it develops 5 years.
Yeah, to where it takes your job.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty scared as far as like what it's gonna do. I'm not saying we're gonna be completely out of jobs, but a lot of us will be out of jobs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure.
Like I think, for example, the Photoshop beta, right?
Yeah,
right?
beta.
The way you can just do these type of things.
Yeah,
so
it's compositing.
And you know how it gives you 3 different options?
Yeah.
So what happens when you drop a video in there and gives you 3 different edits?
Oh shit!
Now you eliminate an editor.
Editor, yeah.
Now the big productions, they're usually gonna still require editors.
Yeah.
But for a lot of these up and coming artists and these up and coming filmmakers, they're gonna be like, I'm just gonna pay the filmmaker, just the filmmaker, and be like, don't worry about the edit because they just want content.
Right.
They don't want art. They want content.
They want content.
That's what I've been seeing a lot. Right.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the problem there. There's a difference between like filming, a project like that, and then just creating content. I mean, yeah, man, for content creators, I see it not even in 5 years, maybe even less.
3,
man.
right?
Yeah, 3 or 2, because it's moving very fast. Right now, as far as the professional creators and or the professional filmmakers and stuff, like do stuff professionally, I definitely see it more like a tool. Like, I use Midjourney for like mood boards and stuff like that to make it easier. And then I started using AI Frame.io or Lutify, I think, and it kind of helps with the color correction, which is you still have to do some work, but it kind of like helps you with the second guessing, and it shows you. But then again, it's not as good as like a colorist, not yet. But I mean, it's crazy, man. I mean, I tried it. I also was like a little effy about it too. Like, I don't really know if I think this is more like things that are not really doing much. Like, it's just things that it's like a nap, like a something to play with, right? But it started developing some crazy things, man. And now I'm like, I used it for like professional things as far as like recaps and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like this could really like take away the job of like, I did some stuff with like animation, like, and I'm like, man, this can take the job of a CG artist or animator or like, you could do voiceovers now with AI, and that's like 3 or 4 jobs that you no longer have to get. And I mean, it is crazy. It is scary, because then you get to think, okay, well, now companies might be like, well, you have all these tools now, right? We don't need 4 people here. We need 1 guy. Yeah. So it might not replace all of us, but it will replace many of us for sure. Yeah, many. And I mean, it's crazy everywhere, bro. I mean, even with the actors and, like the strike they have going on, they want to scan them and now replace them in CG and pose for 1 fee, and then they'll never use them again. That's crazy, like, I mean, it only benefits the people already wealthy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They save the most.
Yeah, I think it needs to like stick to one thing and then kind of like stop it, or find a way to like really, I want to find a way to really join with it and like use it as a collaboration, like as a tool, as a something that as a workflow, using AI in your workflow to help you do things. But I do believe that the bigger people are gonna want to use it to their advantage and develop it into something where they don't have to pay this much people or whatever. You know what I mean?
So I guess I'll tell you my part, and then you can tell me your part. Yeah. So the way I'm viewing it right now with the whole AI, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm pretty scared. Like, I'm seeing where it's going. I really pay attention to it. I don't let it get to my head until I start searching and looking. And there's a reason why I want to start investing into real estate and get into. I want to get out of this. Now, I'm always gonna be creating,
right?
But bro, like, if you stay in this, I don't know what's gonna happen 2 to 5 years from now.
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to stay in this because I'm seeing it. And like you said, we can always get jobs, but it's gonna eliminate 4 people behind us.
Yeah, you're almost gonna have to be the very
kind of like using AI to help you with all these different things.
You're gonna have to be really good at AI, and you're gonna have to be pretty superior at what you already do at your job. Because now you're gonna be, if right now it's hard competing against all these youngsters that are trying to do a music video for $500.
Yep.
Imagine competing against something that you don't even have to pay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and it's doing an amazing job. It's doing a better job than honestly, 70% of people that I know.
Yeah,
in minutes.
Seconds.
Yeah, seconds. I mean, back in the day, I also do some like rotoscoping AI now, and it's amazing because I'm like, I used to take like years to do that, but then I'm thinking, wait, I used to take so long doing that, and now this is doing it so fast.
It does it on its own.
So what does that do to me? You know what I mean? Like, it's great for my project, but what happens now? Like, I don't have to do it. They can just pay this person a monthly fee of $50, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And and that replaces someone that charges $3,000 a month. You know what I mean?
Are you preparing for it by any means, or are you just like, you're just gonna run through it?
I mean, I am. I've been doing a lot of that. A lot of learning with AI and stuff like that. But same thing, you never really know where it's going, so it's always kind of like keeping it in the back of your mind, like, where am I going? And regardless, I do most of my job producing, which there's not an AI for producing, but I do see it like eventually I'm sure they'll find something. I mean, AI regardless can't really do the scout locations and do all the paperwork and all that, because it's more like the paperwork area where you really just need to do it. A human needs to do it, but everything else is like, man, like, it's always good to learn other things, man. Like you said, look into real estate or
I'm right now trying to get away and like trying to do other things for other incomes.
Yeah.
Bro. I just went into Ralph's last week.
Yeah.
And there was 7 cashiers, right? I mean, it was late too, but still, there was no cashier. It was all automated, and there was only one, which is the manager.
Yeah.
And I saw such a big problem. But again, like you said, the wealthy is about saving money, right? So that guy had to. I didn't know this, but you can't self-check out beer or drinks or anything like that. Right. So there was a whole line. Our shit got shut down because over 26 items, it stops it. Then this guy need a beer. This guy. So that guy is doing 20 different jobs.
Right.
I saw his face. He looked like he was done, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's he making, like 22 the hour?
Yeah.
For all this chaos? I was like, bro, like.
And probably not even that, man.
Probably not even that. Probably, I'm probably speaking too high on that.
Yeah.
And he looked like he had enough of it, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
More of like, it is what it is lifestyle, but. I just saw that. I was like, man, like this is just one. Like every single time I go somewhere, there's more automated systems. Like cashiers basically will be obsolete.
Yeah,
right. It'll just be one
person,
making sure
one man. Yeah, it'll even be probably management making sure that no one steals shit. You know what I mean?
Amazon. I haven't walked into the Amazon store, but they have a full AI.
Yeah, you don't need. There's no one there, bro.
You been inside?
I've been it, bro. Yeah, like you just walk in and grab the thing, and then it charges to your account automatically.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's
mind blowing. Everything inside.
It knows everything, bro. And if you put it back, it knows you put it back. It's mind blowing, bro. I was in San Francisco not too long ago, and they have one there, and I was mind blown. I was like, what the? I was like, this is crazy. Like I couldn't believe it, bro. Like you literally walk in there, grab it, walk out. No nothing.
No manager.
Nothing, bro. I didn't see one person in there.
Besides maybe the stock people.
Yeah, like no, not even that. No one. There was nobody. Like just, I mean, there was just the people that were buying stuff, but I didn't see anybody. I mean, I went quick, but there was no one there, bro. Like
just the people buying.
There was people buying stuff, and they'll just walk out.
That's the scary part. Like that's that's something no one's talked about.
That's
basically like a fully built AI.
That's and
the wealthy will have the money to afford all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, this whole AI, bro. I always like talking to creators about it because like it's just very scary. And for me, I just want to make sure like I'm up to date and also trying to expand my knowledge to other things.
Yeah, I mean it's always good to look into other things. Real estate is great, but again, if everybody moves into real estate, it'll become, again, it's oversaturated, and I guess it's just whatever they're good at. Just go to that. Always keep something in the back of the mind that you can always fall back to.
I mean, when I was looking at houses like the last month, I went through a few agents, Bro, like I even told him, it's kind of like it kind of reminded me of filmmaking, where there's a lot of people holding a camera, but they're not cinematographers. They're just guys that hold the camera and they're videographers tomorrow.
Right.
There's a lot of real estate agents. The same thing. They don't know nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Based on all the people I experienced, so I'm like, dude, realistically, I'm very good when it comes to talking to people and selling something.
Right.
Like, a lot of these people don't have that.
Yeah, right.
So you can say I have a real estate license. That doesn't mean you're gonna sell.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it kind of made me view like, bro, if I get into the real estate, like I will be damn good at that. Now it takes a while to build your.
Oh, you're like trying to like being the real estate agent.
Nah,
like,
I wouldn't. But I
like
said like, but I based on what I saw, I was like, if I wanted to,
you could nominate that. Yeah.
I'm really good at talking and really understanding square footage,
right,
the ups and downs, and sell it to you. Like, let's say you're a buyer,
right.
Then like, look, these are downfalls, this and that, but really get you like more pros than cons, unless there's more cons.
Right.
But I can really sell it to you, you know?
Right.
So it's just something I learned, but
yeah.
We just went a little bit off topic, you know, but it's just this whole AI.
Hey, no, man, it's crazy, right? It's crazy, and I mean, you don't want to be one of the last ones that is like, holy shit, like, yeah, I don't need to do anything else anymore, like, you know, like. You can't get hired anywhere because AI is doing the job, and if you are doing it, make sure you're better than AI at doing it, you know, or you have something else that really can sell you and like people wanting to hire you instead of paying a monthly subscription for something.
Yeah. All right, so it's the last one. This is just give these filmmakers an advice, a tip before we end the show. What's something you would like to tell them?
Man. An advice for filmmakers everywhere.
Whether it's up and coming, this is just more free flow, whatever you want to say.
I mean, just keep going. Keep doing the craft if that's what you really want to do again, because this is one of those jobs that you can't really just try it out, because you're not going to get anywhere with it if you don't really put everything into it, you know? Learn the craft, really put your time into it. It's going to get hard, but if you really like it, if you really want it, you'll get it. You know, let the ego go, because it's not going to take you anywhere. Honestly, there's always someone that is out there way better than you, and there's always someone looking at you too. So don't feel discouraged, you know, whenever you think you're not good enough or whatever. You know, there's other people looking like, oh, I want to be like this guy, you know, and then don't let it get to you, because there's always better than you too. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Just keep going and make sure you do it for the love, not for the money, and that's it.
And I'll end it where, realistically, and I'm not saying it because you're here, be like this guy. Like, you're probably one of the very few humble people that I know that's successful. Improvement always, bro. And I'm like, it's hard to find a humble person like that. Like, most people have an ego. Where you're at, bro, they have an ego. So I'm like, damn, this guy really like very mellow, chill back, and you know, you always looked out for me and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, you always reach out sometimes. I'm like, damn, like, that's love. You know, not many people give that. So like, that's for sure. I want to, you know, remain that.
Thank you, man.
That'll take you for sure long. And for anyone out there, just be that person. Be humble, regardless of how high you're getting. Be appreciative of where you started. Now I know why you're humble. Your journey, how everything transpired. So. I always say that's always the best way to go through the rocks, through the mud, through all that. They'll keep you humble.
Yeah, we've been down there, so we're not afraid to be down there again. You know, we know the way back, so it's all good.
Facts. So, anyways, hopefully you guys love this podcast. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment below. Anything else want to let them know, just drop it below. Again, I'll go ahead and drop his Instagram if you guys want to check him out. Dope person, dope work. Definitely check him out. Trust me. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.